Hi, this is Juan Vega from Dell EMC Product Group, the enterprise side. I want to introduce you guys today to the ScaleIO Ready Node. You may be asking what exactly is a Ready Node and what exactly is ScaleIO. I'm here to help walk you through that. First of all, a Ready Node is just a server that's been pre-configured for a particular workload. In this case, it's been pre-configured for ScaleIO, and I'll get into that in a second. The Ready Nodes come in two form factors, PowerEdge 630 or PowerEdge 730XD. Both are configurable. What you'll notice is that these configurations are limited, and that's because only certain pieces of hardware are designed to work with the ScaleIO workload. So in order to give the customer the right experience, we want to limit the hardware to those things that are validated and part of the hardware compatibility list for ScaleIO, and that's what a Ready Node basically does. It controls all of that for you so that you can't make a mistake when you're ordering hardware for a ScaleIO solution. Now, what is ScaleIO? It's software-defined storage. It's a block storage software that allows you to run in any x86 environment. And by pre-configuring the hardware, we make it very, very easy to aggregate all of those disks into a single pool of storage and then add storage or compute capabilities on the fly. So if you've heard of hyper-converged infrastructure, that's exactly what we're able to deliver here. Block storage with a hyper-converged infrastructure offering that allows you to have both compute and storage in the same platform. So, before you had ScaleIO, basically all of your storage was limited to the individual server that it was located on. And as we add the ScaleIO capabilities, not only do you increase the capacity to cover all of that total raw storage, but you get a linear expansion of performance. And so the 225K IOPS that you were seeing from each individual system actually gets multiplied by the number of nodes that you have in the architecture. So it scales linearly, and that's a huge benefit, since ScaleIO's primary sort of benefit to your customer is it scales into enormous clusters. You can have thousands of nodes in your cluster, and each of those nodes can deliver different capacities or processor and memory storage capabilities into the environment. This means that you have a bunch of benefits that are unique to the ScaleIO experience. And the Ready Nodes are really designed to give you access to this unique experience in a very simple to order, very simple to deploy, very simple to deliver manner. And that's why we're building the Ready Nodes. ScaleIO is the first of these Ready Nodes that we're producing, but you can look forward to others that will allow us to enable other workloads as well. And the Ready Node experience essentially pre-architects all the hardware so that you have higher density, better experience. It comes pre-configured, which means it's easier to deploy and to manage. Pre-validated, which means your support experience you're tuned to have a better experience downstream. And then it's fully supported in a collaborative manner, meaning that Dell PowerEdge engineering and ScaleIO engineering have connected together to make sure that the validated components are supported and that support experience is delivered to the customer in a very collaborative way. So no more finger pointing between hardware and software vendors. Your customer gets a much better collaborative managed support experience. So what nodes are available? Well, I mentioned earlier that it's available in the 630 form factor or the 730 form factor. Those two form factors are intended to deliver something different for each form factor. First of all, the high density form factor delivers more compute capability per rack unit. So a converged or hyper-converged infrastructure system using the 630 will actually get more CPU density and more memory density per RU and compared to the storage. So for HCI, etc., that's really the for HCI workloads, that's really the form you want to go focus on. Now the 730XD gives you more capacity, so you can actually get more storage per CPU cycle and per RU by using the 730XD. And so depending on what your customer is optimizing for, whether they want to optimize for that pure software-defined storage experience, where the 730XD is going to give them a larger footprint, or they want to optimize for the hyper-converged infrastructure, where not only they're getting SDS, the software-defined storage, but they're also getting the ability to drive other workloads on those systems and use them as infrastructure servers. So that's why we have both of those available, right? Each one is really able to deliver a better optimized experience for your customers. They're based on standard PowerEdge, so all of the things that you normally expect from a PowerEdge 630 or from a PowerEdge 730 are the same. The networking is pre-configured in each system so that it aligns with the ScaleIO networking paradigms that are required. And all of the rest of it, from bezels to ports to configuration rules, etc., are the same as your 630 and 730XD as you'd expect them to be. Now on top of that, there's also management available for ScaleIO. It's a software management that gives you the ability to manage that software infrastructure across both the storage capabilities as well as the hardware management that you're sort of used to with iDRAC and OpenManage. So it's a enterprise level experience, from hardware management to software management to the storage application management available from ScaleIO. We have made sure that there's plenty of resources available for Dell networking. So if you want to add Dell networking to the cluster and to the sale, there's lots of information on how to optimize for ScaleIO using spine leaf or enhanced spine leaf. Those documents are on Tech Center and available to you. But basically, they take into account all of the different switching and configuration of that switching that is going to be needed to set up a ScaleIO environment for your customer in their data center. Now, in terms of ordering is very simple. We're using a core template in DSA. That template makes sure that you cannot misplace or place an order that doesn't conform to the requirements of ScaleIO for this environment. So everything in that template is pre-validated and pre-configured. And once you select your catalog and then open up the solution templates, very simple, just select the EMC solution that you want, and that Ready Node is going to pop up in either the 630 or 730XD form factor, and then you simply configure that template in the way that your customer wants. All the validation rules, everything are built right into this. Now, alternately, you can use our ScaleIO sizing tool to actually help select the particular configuration that you want, and then the output of that you just use to enter all the information into the Ready Node. So however you want to do it, on your own or using the sizing tool, makes it real easy for you to order a Ready Node that you know is going to be right and is going to work for that customer. So I told you about the sizing guide. Let me kind of walk you through how the sizing guide works. It's very simple, but it's kind of different from the sizing tools that we have used in the past here at Dell. So first, open up the web-based tool at scaleio-sizer.emc.com. The preferred browser for this is going to be Chrome. It just tends to work better, but it has been tested across multiple browsers. We just found that Chrome tends to be more consistent. You have direct access once you've opened it to the team that's developed it, so if you have any questions or feedback, feel free to contact us. It's very simple to set up. There's a series of filters that you click on first. Once you're in the sizer, you can see there the top three choices. Center one is sizer. Just select filters. You can actually say, oh, well, I know my customer wants to do converged or storage, or I want to do hybrid or SSD or HDD only, right? So you can make some selections. Some of those are, I want to see both. I want to see both the HDD and the hybrid to sort of get an idea for what the cost differences are. Or you can select just one. So these sort of set up the initial impacts you're going to have on what is displayed on the right-hand side, which is the results. Then you're going to go through a series of inputs, and those inputs are very simple. You're going to input the total raw capacity that they want. You're going to input sort of the number of 10 gig connections that you want to make to the cluster. If it's HCI, then you're going to select virtualization, and you're going to input some different parameters around the HCI infrastructure, kind of what you're looking for. And what happens is that on the right side, you end up getting a series of results. And if you look very carefully on the results side, you'll see in the upper right corner there in blue it says raw capacity. That's actually a sort priority that you can use to sort out the preferred results that you have. And you can sort by price, number of chassis, model, etc. Lots of different ways to look at this and get an idea of just what exactly is being configured and meeting your customer's needs. Once you've selected that by just clicking on it, you'll have the option of producing a PDF file. You'll have the option of producing a PDF file, and the output of that PDF file is exactly what I showed you at the end of the configuration discussion. So it will give you a bunch of data on the system, its bill of materials, the compute capacities, all of the ways that it applies to the customer's needs. So it can help you with your proposal, and you can use it to actually configure that template appropriately and simplify the ordering for your customer. All right. So how do we put together the whole solution? Well, it's pretty simple. For a legacy Dell salesperson, you guys just follow the ordering process the way we've discussed it. Very simple, very easy. If you also want to add ScaleIO licenses or ScaleIO implementation services, and ScaleIO is providing all of the deployment services for this hardware. We provide the support services. You'll see Pro Support's a requirement. But if you want deployment services, and we do highly recommend that you at least quote the implementation services for that customer, you can either drop a note to the ScaleIO deal desk at scaleio.sales@emc.com, and they will help you out. Or you can open up salesforce.com and look at the Gamma tool to help you find the EMC sales folks who are working on your specific account and can help place orders, get quotes, etc., manage the rest of that for you. We do highly recommend their implementation services, as there's a lot of additional complexity the customer has to still deal with around making sure they have the right versions of drivers, etc., as they build out the operating system and actually deploy these into the data center environment. So that kind of wraps things up for us on the ScaleIO Ready Node and the overall basic training. If you have any questions, please reach out to your PLMs, and they can connect you back to us in PG or help you understand exactly what needs to be done to place an order for a Ready Node. Just keep in mind, Ready Nodes are pre-configured servers for the ScaleIO workload, and they ensure that the customer always gets the right hardware. It simplifies the deployment and improves the support experience by making sure that it's highly collaborative, no finger pointing. Thanks very much for your time. Hope you guys find this to be a very valuable tool in your server and software-defined storage toolbox. As a parting note, ScaleIO is a Dell technology, so every time you sell a Ready Node and the ScaleIO software, you drive sort of a double win for Dell. Thanks very much.
Welcome to the technical training overview for the Dell EMC HPC system for research. My name is Neil Klosterman, and I'm the HPC product manager. In this training, I will provide an overview of what the HPC system for research is, what's new in this release, and additional details regarding our HPC systems. Our vision for HPC is that Dell Technologies will help more people make more innovations and discoveries than any other HPC systems vendor in the world. There are 3 areas Dell EMC will drive our vision. Dell EMC will advance HPC by using our in-house expertise to incorporate the latest technologies in the HPC system design. There are several areas Dell EMC is working to democratize HPC. Through HPC System Builder, we are making it easier for sales to work with the customer in order to quickly and effectively design their HPC system. Dell EMC has an HPC Innovation Lab located in Austin, Texas, along with support from the Dell Solution Centers to provide customers with early access to new technologies and demo Dell EMC HPC capabilities. In this release, we are adding technologies optimized for HPC and that are specifically designed for HPC end users. Dell EMC is focused on designing the products and making services available purpose-built for HPC that can be used in the overall system design. The Dell EMC HPC portfolio is focused on designing systems built for specific use cases. We have the HPC system for research, life sciences, and manufacturing today, and we'll be adding more in the future. We also have HPC storage designs that can plug into the greater overall system to work with compute and network fabric. All of our systems are designed at the overall solution level, but are made of products from the different Dell EMC business units, like the PowerEdge server, networking, and storage teams. Dell EMC also partners with industry leaders to provide additional technologies not designed by Dell EMC, but that can make available to our customers. For example, leveraging Bright Cluster Manager from Bright Computing as a cluster management software tool. The Dell EMC HPC system for research is designed to be the most flexible offering from the Dell EMC HPC team. A typical customer that would purchase the HPC system for research has to support several different workload types versus a single or few workloads that a vertical customer may purchase. A lot of our academic and government research sites will have their HPC system based on the research design. We offer several different server platform types, accelerator options, storage offerings, and network fabrics to design the system based on the customer's requirements. Through the work that our HPC Innovation Lab performs, Dell EMC provides assurances for the customer that their HPC system has been tested, validated, and tuned to support the customer's environment. It can take several months to deploy a large HPC system, and Dell EMC has implemented processes to help optimize or speed up that deployment. In the factory, we can implement the recommended BIOS configurations for HPC workloads. The HPC Innovation Lab works alongside Bright Computing in order for their software stack to quickly deploy and set up their HPC system on-site or through a merge center. All of our best practices that are developed we publish on Dell Tech Center to reduce the complexity in setting up and running the HPC system. Through our own in-house expertise, we also provide guidance on how sites can support their end users accessing the system remotely throughout the world, or we can provide a service for Dell EMC to manage the HPC system remotely through a partner. In this latest release, Dell EMC is adding the PowerEdge C6320P server for compute along with support for the latest Intel Xeon 5 processors. Also new in this release is the addition of the latest technology from NVIDIA with the P100 PCIe GPUs. In the Q1 FY18 timeframe, this technology will advance even further with support for NVLink from NVIDIA, removing the PCIe bottleneck for GPU to GPU communications. Mellanox has expanded their switch portfolio with the release of Switch IB2 technology, and Dell EMC is now OEMing the top-of-rack switches from Mellanox with this latest technology. Finally, there were software updates made to the overall stack to support the latest versions available, and removal of support for older technologies no longer provided by Dell EMC. The PowerEdge C6320P is one of the purpose-built products from Dell EMC specifically for HPC end users. Intel initially released their Xeon 5 technology in 2013, which is based on a PCIe plug-in card. This provided the capabilities for an increase in x86 cores in the server, but was limited by the PCIe bottleneck. With the latest Xeon 5 release from Intel, the PCIe limitation has been removed and is now plugged directly into the socket on the board, allowing for direct access to the max amount of memory. PowerEdge C6320P is a compute sled that plugs into the C6300 chassis, allowing for 4 sleds total in a 2U footprint. Each sled or C6320P server supports a single Xeon Phi processor, 6 DIMM slots for up to 384 GB max memory, and local hard drives for I/O. The Xeon Phi processor also includes integrated on-package memory for significantly higher memory bandwidth. The 16 GB of high bandwidth memory can be configured in cache mode, flat mode, or a hybrid between the two. Cache mode will provide access to the high bandwidth memory with no changes needed to the code, effectively another level of memory. Flat mode will allow the programmer to design their code to migrate data in and out of the high bandwidth memory through physical addressable space. Finally, there is a single PCIe X16 slot for additional fabric or PCIe card support. There are 3 primary fabric options for the C6320P server sled. The first 2 options are available at RTS today. The 1-port EDR InfiniBand sled provides a network fabric with 100 gigabit per second speed to connect to a Mellanox InfiniBand fabric. The EDR InfiniBand port is down on the board itself and does not require use of the PCIe X16 slot, leaving that slot available for additional network fabric or card support. The second PCIe X16 option will allow for network fabric to be connected through the PCIe X16 slot only. This sled design can be used today to connect the Intel OmniPath PCIe card from Dell EMC. Then finally, in the future, Dell EMC will release integrated fabric support where a carrier card will occupy the PCIe X16 slot, providing 2 Intel OmniPath ports that are on the socket itself. This design will allow for additional cost savings to the customer. Intel's Xeon Phi technology is a many-core x86 CPU design that is built for highly parallel and highly vectorized HPC applications. While the CPU itself is x86 based, there are enhancements or optimizations the programmer should take in order to fully utilize the capabilities of Xeon Phi. Some of those initial workloads that have shown to take advantage of Xeon Phi include life sciences codes for genomic sequencing, or cryo-EM, which our HPC Innovation Lab recently released a blog on, financial risk workloads, and machine learning, which is an emerging workload for HPC right now. NVIDIA has released their next generation of GPU technology in the Pascal product family. With this release, we are officially adding support for the P100 PCIe GPUs, and the additional products for P100 with NVLink and P40 P4 will be coming in Q1 FY18. NVIDIA has designed their GPUs so that the P100 along with P40 P4 GPUs can be taken advantage of for the machine learning workloads. The P100 is designed to perform the training phase of machine learning, and the P40 P4 GPU is then used for the inferencing phase. For customers that are doing a lot of GPU to GPU communication, they will be able to take advantage of the P100 with NVLink. NVLink is a new technology from NVIDIA for GPU to GPU communication, removing the PCIe bottleneck. Then finally, for customers whose workloads can take advantage of GPUs but don't require the optimization for GPU to GPU communication and come in at a better price point, NVIDIA has released the P100 PCIe version. These GPUs will be supported in both the PowerEdge R730 and or PowerEdge C4130 platforms. NVLink specific GPUs will only be supported in the PowerEdge C4130. The NVIDIA P100 accelerators come in 2 form factors previously discussed with NVLink or PCIe. The P100 with NVLink can provide up to 5.3 teraflops of dual precision performance or 10.6 teraflops single precision. With NVLink technology, the bandwidth for GPU to GPU communication is expanded to 160 gigabytes per second while still providing the PCIe 32 gigabytes per second bandwidth from GPU to CPU. Also available is a 16 gigabytes of high bandwidth memory on the GPU itself. The PCIe version of P100 will provide up to 4.7 teraflops of dual precision performance and 9.3 teraflops of single precision. With support for PCIe, there are several different configurations for CPU to GPU ratio in the PowerEdge C4130. There are 2 different options for high bandwidth memory with 12 gigabytes or 16 gigabytes available on the accelerator itself. Dell EMC is now OEMing the latest switch technology from Mellanox called Switch IB2. High-speed, low-latency network fabrics are needed in HPC environments in order to pass messages in a parallel fashion from one server to the other. Switch IB2 from Mellanox provides continued support for 100 gigabits per second bandwidth and now offers SHARP technology. SHARP technology from Mellanox provides collective offload communications to the switch itself. This helps to take more network load off the processor itself, thus allowing the processor to focus more on what the processor should be doing. Dell EMC provides a range of services for the customer to help make their HPC deployments easier and managing their HPC systems easier. From standard rack and stack, merge center deployments, to completely managing the HPC system remotely, Dell EMC will be there to assist the customer with their needs. As with all Dell EMC products, the HPC team leverages the options for several different support catered to the customer's requirements. For customers that need to start computing before the system is deployed or have burst case scenarios, Dell EMC can set up a hybrid cloud environment for on-prem, off-prem computing. This will help the customer by sizing their system based on their day-to-day needs while providing them with the capabilities to expand beyond that when the requirement is there. And as always, we continue to offer our Dell EMC financial services to help the customer with their purchases and provide flexibility for future upgrades. The Dell EMC HPC Innovation Lab is a world-class site with the purpose of testing, validating, and tuning our HPC systems portfolio. Currently, the lab has two HPC systems named Zenith and Rattler, with Zenith featured as the number 372 in the latest top 500 list for the fastest supercomputers in the world. With the two HPC systems in the Innovation Lab, has access to the latest technologies developed by Dell EMC and our partners. We allow for remote access into the lab so that end users can benchmark their own applications in order to assist in making their purchasing decisions. With our own in-house expertise, we can also work with the end user to benchmark their applications ourselves or see where optimizations can be made. Most all the data developed in our HPC Innovation Lab gets published in white papers available on SalesEdge or Dell.com and blogs available on Dell Tech Center. Access to the system can be requested from the link at the bottom for an internal submission form. Finally, there is additional collateral to learn more about Dell EMC HPC systems available at dell.com/HPC, dellhpcsolutions.com, SalesEdge, and through regional training events. Look to engage with your customers for early discussions around the type of research they are looking to accomplish, and then engage with the Dell EMC HPC Solutions domain specialist to have more formal technical discussions. The HPC Solutions domain specialist can work with the customer to design their HPC system to meet their requirements. The HPC System Builder can be leveraged to design and quote HPC systems that are 256 nodes or fewer. The larger, more complex systems most of the time require more in-depth design discussions with the HPC Solutions domain specialist. Look for additional enhancements and updates to our HPC systems portfolio in the future. Thank you.